What if I tell you that inside this building you can design a PCB in the morning, fabricate it by the afternoon and do a 3D printed enclosure by evening and walk home with a working prototype? Yes, we are here in India's first Super Fab Lab in Kerala, where makers, engineers and startups are converting their ideas into working prototypes.
Close to the
real apple, yeah, exactly.
I felt like a kid in a candy store.
Bring it into the real world and make cool stuff like this.
Well,
How much time does it take to cut and assemble the sofa?
15 minutes max.
We underestimate ourselves very much.
So to understand more about this Super Fab Lab and how people are using it, we have Georgian Francis here, who is the lead for Fab Lab Kerala. So thank you so much for joining us. What is Fab Lab and what is the difference between a Fab Lab and a Super Fab Lab?
It's an abbreviation of fabrication laboratories, so which is where you can fabricate things, but it's more into digital fabrication. So if you look across the Fab Lab, you see 3D printers, laser cutters, CNC machines. And in a Super Fab Lab, you see very complex machines like wire EDMs, water jet cuts, and 5-axis milling machines or SLS 3D printers. So the Fab Lab is actually not giving access to the tools. It is actually bringing all that together into a common space so that they can reduce their iteration period. Rather than waiting months in iteration, now it is reduced into weeks or even days or hours for getting their prototypes.
What you're seeing here is called as the FDM machines. We have a different set of machines over here. These are called the FDM only. This is from Pruja, and these are the workforces from the Bamboo Labs. These are particularly assigned for the single material at a time. So when it comes to resin, the much better details really captured on this one. And we also have another tech called PolyJet. Before going for the mass production, if you want to see your product in a final way, we can print it on this one.
What is the difference between this resin printer and this?
Colors. So basically it's a colored printer with a Z-axis. This is the one that I have told you right over there.
Okay,
it's the
this is the
PolyJet.
PolyJet
Yeah, exactly.
one. It looks close to
The real one,
injection
right? Yeah,
molded
exactly.
part, right?
So
Even the colors were done by the machine.
exactly. So we can map it out. We can map out the colors on that.
Okay.
So when it comes to the final product, you can actually see on how the product actually going to look like. So this is actually 3D printed. As you can see that, complex structures, and it's see-through, right?
Okay.
Without
any
this,
support
yeah,
structure.
exactly. And this is the actual print one.
Wow.
So that's what I'm talking
almost close to the
about. Real apple,
product.
yeah, exactly.
So this is from the PolyJet.
PolyJet. Major of the things that you see over here is 3D printed. This is a machine called Pico, a Neo Pico. It's an open source machine from our side.
Can I?
Yeah, sure. It's actually 3D printed completely.
So the body is completely 3D,
3D printed, yep.
And I can see an x-axis on a threaded rod.
Yep.
Some milling machine part. Is this a drone motor?
Yep. So in order to achieve that high RPM, you have to use it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-axis.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a smaller version, a desktop version, so that people can make it affordable and in a home. If they have a 3D printer, it's open source.
So what other additive technology we have in there?
As we have said about FDM, SLA, and we have one more is called as SLS, Selective Laser Sintering, where we use powder format materials to sinter out. We use a laser source for sintering the powder. And these are the parts that is printed on this one. So what we call it as intricate designs. Very highly functional parts can be this printed on this one.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Georgian, I want to understand how people are using the Fab Lab over here. So say for example, I walk in with a product idea. Let's say I'm building an IoT based water level sensor, for example. So I have the idea in mind. I don't have the skills to completely prototype it on my own, and I don't have the machines to prototype. So I walk in, I approach you guys. How does the process look like after that?
If you are a college student or someone interested in making a hobby project, you can directly come to Fab Lab and ask us to help them to make their some. And most of these are subsidized. So we have a differential pricing for our operation. If they doesn't want to understand the process, they can give us the intent, what they wanted to make. So we have a set of designers who will work on that and conceptualize the idea and make that them for you. We have these courses, which is actually an inspired course from the MIT's How to Make Almost Anything course in digital fabrication, which include CAD design, electronics, embedded programming or computer programming, all aspects of rapid prototyping, and they can enroll for that and have a totality of understanding about all this landscape, and they can build for themselves as well. So in each level, we cater them differently.
So let's move forward with the same example. Let's say I'm an engineer. I know how to design PCBs. I have the Gerber file ready. I just need to use this space to, mill my PCB and solder my components. How does that scenario work?
That's very easy. So we have a portal. So either you can upload the design files to the portal, and this will give us integrated into our CRM, and one of our people will contact you, because these are not standard approaches in PCB design.
Okay, so this is the section where all the electronic fabrication takes place in the Super Fab Lab. So we have a prototyping workflow here. So the first step in making PCBs here is we mill our PCBs here instead of the industrial chemical etching process. It is very efficient when time is very important. So for that we have Carvera. So it is actually a milling machine which has an automatic tool changing setup. So it allows us to mill up to 2 layers of PCB. So we can mill top and bottom. So this allows us to do operations of drilling and milling traces up to like maybe 0.4 minimum traces and clearances. Then after the PCB milling process takes place, we have an option to apply solder and do reflow oven. Softwares that we use are open source software like KiCad. So that's how our entire workflow of electronics works for PCB making. So one of a product that we have developed here is a installation which is like involving tech and art. Each of these balls is controlled by a stepper motor node, and this stepper motor node has an individual PCB which is connected to a microcontroller, an 80 tiny.
Okay.
So the 80 tiny just handles the motor's movement, and there's a main ESP32 board which acts as the major control unit.
Okay.
So it decides and it communicates to each of these nodes on where they should go and what should they do and at what direction they should take. So that's what we expect from our clients or anyone who is using this facility, to not just prototype something but bring it into the real world and make cool stuff like this.
Thank you, Ashish.
Yes. Thank you.
Can you give us some case studies, any startup that has originated here and has gone out and been in the market, or any impactful stories that Super Fab Lab has contributed to?
So you might have heard about these startups called Gen Robotics.
Yes.
So this was actually started as a Fab Lab in Trivandrum. They were college startups, fresh out of college. And the startup mission helped them incubate in the Fab Lab in Trivandrum, and they used the facility to build their early prototypes. So later they move on to their own facility, but prior to that they were using the Fab Lab for production ready prototypes. So Eve Labs is a company which making medical equipments for monitoring purpose. So they actually heavily used these 3D printers for their production ready small batch productions as well. And Sultan Systems is a company which actually fabricate pick and place. They actually fabricate their custom parts in Fab Lab itself. So many possibilities. Even MSMEs comes here during the pandemic. So there was a scenario in the pharmaceutical which was in Alapura. So this company was supposed to make paracetamols for the entire state and beyond. At the peak of its operation, so one of the critical component of the machine got damaged. And due to the supply chain dependency or restrictions at that moment, they were not able to import that and replace that. So they actually somehow approached us, and we collected the part and took a 3D scan and reconstructed modeling on the part. And we printed that on some nylon material and put it back to the machine. It was not as good at the metal part, but it lasted for 2 to 3 weeks, and we replaced that frequently until the exact part came. So we operate in many dimensions, and wherever the prototyping or people actually wanted to make changes, we actually support them.
On this area, we have subtractive manufacturing machines. This is called water jet cutting machine, and the bed size is around 4 feet by 4 feet. And currently, it is set up to around 40,000 psi. So in a car tire pressure, it's around 30 psi. Here is a CNC milling machine. So this is a quite common machine that we have in manufacturing companies. So the bed size is around 2 feet, and we have around 20 centimeters of height. You can directly walk in, but the machines will be used by a skilled person. And you'll have to bring in the file, either a 3D model, and we'll do the CAM and we'll do the processing and stuff like that. And you'll receive a finished part out of it. If you are comparing with the market rates, so since this is a government facility, every machine is on a subsidized charge. It is actually used for cutting very precise materials. So you'll get around 5 micron level precision in this machine. So this is called a flatbed digital cutter, and it has around 3 modules there. So in a single go, you can do multiple machining. So this can be used to cut materials like rubber sheets. If you want to out for a leather bag, you can use this machine to do that. And if you have carpets for like inlaying a carpet, you can do that. Or else this machine is actually capable of cutting aluminum also. So if you have a 2 mm or 3 mm thick aluminum, it can do that. So if you look over there, all these sofas and all these cupboards are done with this machine. The one you meet before, right, Jojin, he actually designed this sofa. So beyond the aesthetic part, we have like structural components inside.
So how much weight can it handle?
Like we have tested around 150 kgs. There is a laser cutter over there. It is an interchangeable one. You can actually change the head for different purposes. So currently we have an inkjet printer here. So if you want a cutting knife for cutting stickers and all, you can place that. And we also have a module for putting pen here. So if you want to plot something, you can use that. And we also have a compartment here for like laser cutter. So similar to UV printing, you can use this module to print on acrylic.
So Jojin, how do you see the future for Super Fab Labs? Like 10 years from now, what do you envision?
I consider the Fab movement as more like a social movement. So this will bring people together in local communities and give them the access to make their own tools and what they wanted to make. In few years, we will be expanding and scaling these mini spaces into all across Kerala, and everybody will have an opportunity to try out something. In order to scale that up to that extent, we need the machines which can affordably manufacture and deployed in these spaces also. So we have a project called MTM, which is actually making machines, digital fabrication tools in Kerala itself, which is fabricatable, replicatable and open. People can upgrade that, do their own stuff with that. So we create the boilerplate for these machines. So right now we are making a small desktop cutting machine. So the zone is almost 115 USD, but it's a super cool machine, but you can have that in your neighborhood or in a high school or something. So we are making smaller machines which can do the exact thing, increase the cardboard. So in schools, they often use flexible and materials like PVC foam and cardboard paper. But if you look across the landscape of machines, there are very limited options for working on such materials. And we identified it's a good area to be addressed, and we started working on a small prototypes which can cut cardboard and crease and create their ideas into a more faster implementation. So 3D printers are very good for schools, but the waiting time is too large. So they actually diminish the curiosity in the student waiting for an 5 to 6 hours. But the cardboard is instantaneous or spontaneous. They get what they wanted right at the moment.
Fab Lab does extend all over India, right? So if my city doesn't have a Fab Lab, or if I don't have a Fab Lab that's accessible near me, what can I do?
What I mentioned is about the startups we are supporting. If anybody wanted to come and make things, so they are welcoming in Fab Lab. They can come and do it irrespective of where they are from and what kind of work they are doing.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much for your time.